was hoping you, Fernanda, you could talk a little bit about your performance. It's filled with so much grace and quiet rage and dignity. So I was wondering how you decided to approach this character, this real woman.
I think we all in this movie wanted to be faithful to Eunice Paiva, because in her life she never allowed her to be sentimental publicly, to show herself destroyed or crying, or she never allowed it to feel, I think, self-pity. She's a very strong woman. So we wanted to be faithful to her. And after doing Eunice, I realized that it's much more stronger when you restrain the emotions, when you hold it, because as an actors normally want to show. You cry, you scream, you do the great scene, but Eunice didn't allow us to do it in the movie, because I think the whole movie doesn't do it with you. It's a very honest movie and a very honest acting. You don't superdo it, you do it within. And it's something that I've never did the way I did here. And Walter, I think, did the same in Selton, so it's a movie about subtraction and restraint. And by doing it, getting a deep, deep feeling about reality. So I think Eunice was the guide for us to be faithful to her.
Well, you did an incredible job.
Thank you.
In Selton, you have a really pivotal role in the film, right? Because you have to set up this man almost like a mythic character who you really feel the absence of his presence later in the film. So I was wondering how you approached the character.
Well, I think the most important approach to me, it was like more spiritual than technically. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I only had photographs of him. I didn't see some images in movement of Rubens. I just saw pictures, and then I had this beautiful conversations with Marcelo Rubens Paiva, who wrote the book, who this film is based on, and then the sisters too, the friends. So I heard a lot about him, and I'm not only me, but me and Walter, we're not in the mood to portray this guy and think about how he walks, how he talks. No. I want to understand the mood, what this guy represents to his family, to his friend, what energy he lives in a room. So it was a beautiful experience and a super hard experience, because I know the end, and then I had to act pretending that I'm not know what's going on after. For example, the scene when they took Rubens out of his home, it was super hard to do, because I know what's going on. But Rubens said, no, I'll be here later today, or maybe tomorrow, because it's how it works at that time. So it's hard to do this without pretending that we don't know. But I mean, Walter, again, it's a real maestro, and he does the whole film, like Fernanda said. Eunice was our guide for Fernanda, for me, for Walter, for editor, for, it's like, that's it. And I mean, and it's hard to do this. It's like half an hour to do this character remarkable enough to resonate throughout the film. It's super important what we did, and I think we found this special quality without doing a lot. It's like doing less maybe, but special enough.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could talk about the first half an hour of the film. I mean this as the truest compliment. I was like, maybe I need 5 kids, because it seemed like, and I never thought I would say that. but it was so full of life and such a beautiful life that they led. So can you talk about how you kind of manifested that working together and also with the actors who played your children?
That's Selton has a great thing about the kids. I mean, the family. We first we shot it chronologically. So we came from this very shining beginning to this dark moment where everything that was alive in that house becomes like censored. And so we had friends, we had all those children. And the first thing we did in this movie, after rehearsing for a month in this house, the real house, was to do the photographs. We did this work remaking the photographs, and it's mimesis. It's what you see from the Greeks. They say that art is an emulation or an imitation of nature, of life. And when you do a photograph and you try to do the pose, but the pose is not enough. You have to have the feeling of that instant. So this was the first real approach, was the first week of shooting was redoing the photographs. And this put us totally into it. And I think Selton says wonderful things about having children in the room.
Yeah, because I'm an actor since I was a kid. So every time I work with kids, it's very special because I remember why I'm doing this. Because you have the freshness, you have no vicious to another jobs. So you're very real. You'll be there. So we teach them a lot, like about our craft. I mean, the photograph. Don't look at the camera. Take care of the microphone, etc. But they teach us a very special thing, which is act is just to be there. You don't have to do a lot. So it's beautiful, this exchange with the kids. We love the kids.
The love of the family, the affection, this kind of resistance is there with hope. So it's funny because a film about the violence of state who killed someone, tortured, but it's not about it. It's about love. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's affection, family, and we just spoke with Melody, who is here, and she worked with your mom on Central Station, but this is the thing. Walter has this quality. I mean, this is so Walter. He always managed a film like in a very delicate way, in a very elegant way, full of sensibility. So again, he's here talking about a family, and talking about this family, he talks about Brazil, just like he did in Central Station, in a very subtle way.
Because this is important. Marcelo started to write this book because he saw that his mother was losing her memory because of Alzheimer. At the same time that Brazil was losing the memory of dictatorship. So there is this parallel between this character, Eunice, and someone who nobody knew about it. She never wanted to be recognized by what she did. And so this son writes this book to say she's a heroine full of contradictions. I mean, a woman who remains in silence, who doesn't say to their children that their father has been killed. This is such a strange decision, such a tough decision. So she's not perfect. She's not a heroine. She's a human heroine. And that's why Marcelo wrote the book, because Brazil was losing its memory also.
It's beautiful. Fernanda, I know this is the third time you've worked with Walter, so I was wondering if you could talk about the evolution of your working relationship a little bit and how it was on this third time working together.
Listen, Foreign Land was our formative movie, our movie from our youth. We're young. We are we are doing like stunt scenes where Walter was driving the car with me by his side with no seat belts. We could have just died over there. And we were shooting in Africa. But Walter discovered which kind of director he was in Central Station. Was a director very much related to his documentarist background. He wanted like small crews. He wanted to call everybody to be co-author of the movie. And then after Foreign Land, I saw him becoming himself, but something that it was founded in Foreign Land, in Central Station, in Motorcycle Diaries. And I thought that was it. I mean, my experience with Walter was Foreign Land, Midnight, which is a short movie, but Foreign Land is the movie. And then one day he called me, and I was doing a lot of comedy lately.
Including with me.
Yeah. If you try to watch our memes.
Memes.
I mean,
Oh my God, we did crazy
crazy. I mean,
comedy TV show.
I cannot hide them. So when Walter called me, I said, are you sure? Because I was not the age of Eunice anymore, and I was a bit shocked. But Walter doesn't watch television. And it saved me, you see. And then when he called me, it was like, I felt the task I had in front of me was, I could save my drama career. But also I saw, Marcelo Rubens Paiva, he's a hero of my youth. And Eunice Paiva, and this story now. And not to do something pamphlet. Do you have this word in English? Panfletario? No, you don't. Come on. Come on, people. So it was not a political film about the dictatorship. It was much more than this. It was a film to remind Brazil of our best side. This family is Brazil in its best, progressive Brazil. And I can see now even people, who was like right wing, watching this movie and crying and say, I don't like an authoritarian regime. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So that's the difference of Walter now. He was a young director at that time, and now he's a mature director. I think the work that Walter did in this movie, he almost tried to disappear. He doesn't push. He doesn't push with music. He doesn't show off with cameras. He's not there. And he asked this from all of us, just to disappear in the characters. So it's not documentary because it's not something improvised, but it's very close to reality, to mimesis. It has to do with the photographs. We don't look like actors. We look like real people. This is very strange. This house it smells. We sweat. We don't look like we are acting. And this is very strange. I've never had this experience before.
Well, it worked really well in the film. Selton, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your experience of watching the rest of the movie after your character gets kidnapped. Almost, you're like a ghost who gets to see life afterwards. I was wondering what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, the first time I watched the film, I was a normal audience, because since we shot in a chronological way, when I left the house, I left the shooting. I left these people, Actually, I will go to another work. And then, so when I watched the film, it was like a shock to me to feel the pain of the family. It was a mix of feelings. I mean, to see the beauty of Fernanda's work, I admire a lot. She's a super friend. I was super proud when I saw this. All the journey of the family, but it was a shock. It's almost like I didn't the character in the. But yeah, it's beautiful. And then talking about memory again. I mean, it's a film about memory, and I lost my mom to Alzheimer's too recently. So it was super emotional to me when I saw Fernanda Montenegro, which is our queen, the Brazilian queen of Brazil, the Brazilian culture queen. Is our queen. She's our queen. So when I saw Fernanda playing Alzheimer, I mean, 5 minutes on screen without a line, and super powerful. And then I was like, it was my mom. So all of this to say, this film starts with a personal journey to Walter, but became a personal journey to us too. I mean, like it's my film too. It's talking about memory, my mom. It's a mix of feelings, and I see beauty on that because it's a movie. It's in a streaming era. We did a film. We shot in 35 millimeters. So then we have these photographs, moments that Fernanda said. So it's so proud to be part of a real cinema. So with a real maestro, with Sony classics. So we're super proud of this work.
Thank you. And then Fernanda,
But this is funny. The day Selton left was the day I remember thinking, I won't see him again. And it was a mixture between the actress and the character. And it happened all over because of the chronological way of shooting. It's a very mysterious movie. And also, what you said, you thought about your mother. Of course, I think about my mother when I see this film. But and there is this wonderful story of a critic in Italy, and it happened later, saying, the makeup artist is amazing. Really, more than once. And what I think it happens in this film is very strange now that we have been showing. Some people get touched by the feminist side of the movie, by this woman, the story of this woman. Others get touched by the family thing. Others get touched because they lost someone. Others get touched because of the political side of the movie. So it's a movie that you can discuss with this movie motherhood, feminism, authoritarianism. This word is tough.
you aced it.
This I have been training, but it's not perfect yet. So it has a lot of sides, this movie. So sorry.
And I think too, it's in a very strange time that we live. I mean, full of hate, etc. It is a film saying like a violent thing, but in a very sensitive way. I mean, so I think this is beautiful.
Yeah, Gandhi movie. Right. For hard times.